All right. Welcome, everyone. We're going to give it a minute or two as everybody's joining the webinar, but thanks for joining us today for the Local Government Roundtable. You can see there are a number of us here in the webinar today to share information and updates, answer questions. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, we'll give it about 1 minute while we wait for people to join. But thank you for being here and for making time. All right, before we get started, I'll just share a few little details. This is a webinar, so if you have questions, you can put them into the Q&A. And the way that we'll structure today's webinar, we will first start off with some presentation from Crystal, and she will introduce herself and share a presentation. She also will share some updates and information about common questions she's been getting recently regarding BEAD, and then after that, we'll open it up to Q&A. So again, if you have questions, you can definitely pop them into the Q&A portion. We will keep an eye on that and make sure that all the questions get answered. And it looks like we've got a good amount of participants based on registration. So Crystal, I will turn it over to you. Also, I did not introduce myself. My name is Kelly. I'm the new Community Engagement Manager in the office. Great to be here. You can see on the screen, we've got Jamie, Crystal, Aaron, and we are excited to get started. So Crystal, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Can you see my screen, Arizona page? Okay, perfect. Yes. So what I always like to tell folks is to start at our ACA broadband website. That's going to be azcommerce.com/broadband. And that'll take you to our home page. Okay, once you're there, I like to go to the BEAD dropdown to the left side of the screen, and then to the challenge process. This page contains all of the information regarding the Arizona challenge process. Right here is the link to the broadband navigator. You can click that link, or you can just go to az.broadbandnavigator.com and it'll take you to this website. So once you're at the website, you'll see this map of Arizona. These donuts represent the number of unserved and underserved BSLs, or broadband serviceable locations. Here are the different types of tabs at the top. So you can view the map where coverage is greater than or equal to 25 by 3, 100 by 20, or you can see the number of providers. This is the default because this is the threshold for BEAD, essentially. So you can also change the boundaries. Right now we're looking at the county boundary. You can use any of these boundaries here. You can go to tribal boundaries and we'll see the different tribes. Schools. We'll just go ahead and leave it at the county boundaries. So these boundaries also update this information on the left-hand side of the screen. If we click a boundary, then you'll see it update. So you can see that information for each county boundary here. So you can also view coverage, speed, subscription, income, race, and age. All of this data comes from the American Community Survey data by the US Census Bureau. If you want to know more about that, you can go to the About section here. And it'll tell you all of the, basically where the data came from regarding this information here. So let's see. If we want to know information at the household level, we can either zoom into that location or we can search it in the search bar here. So I'll just go ahead and search for the Arizona Commerce Authority address. And it should take you there. Okay, once you click on the BSL, or the broadband serviceable location, it'll give you the availability data to the left. This information comes directly from the FCC broadband map. So this, and again, for those of you that don't know, this portal only shows reliable technologies. So reliable technologies are cable, DSL, fiber, licensed fixed wireless, or licensed by rule fixed wireless. It will not show unreliable technologies because those essentially don't need to be challenged. Okay, it'll also show you the funding information here. Last time we did let everybody know that there was a known issue with the tribal TBCP data, Tribal Broadband Connectivity Program. If you see an issue with that, no need to report it. We're already aware of it. But if you'd like to submit a formal challenge, you can go ahead and do so. All of the other funding information should be correct. So if you'd like to see the funding information at the boundary level, you can do so by toggling this funding. And you'll see the different types of funding available. You'll see that they're color-coded here. So TBCP data is in purple, RDOF is in green, and there's several other types of funding available too. Typically, when you select a BSL, it'll also show you the awardee information. So if I zoom in further, I can see that for this funding here, the provider that was awarded that is shown here.
Crystal, quick question. As you're doing this, there is a question in the chat. Any update on sorting the map by provider, latency, and other NTIA provider requirements?
Okay, so you shouldn't be able to filter by provider from this map. However, I can show you how to do that from the FCC map. And I can do that at the end of this. It's pretty simple, as either Sandeep or I could show you how to filter by provider or technology or type of service using the FCC map. This map, you won't be able to do so because it's not really designed for that. It's mostly designed for basically the state challenge process and only showing data that's relevant for challenges. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and show everybody how to take a speed test or submit, submit a broadband service issue. There was some confusion about those two options. So you do not have to be a registered user to submit a speed test or report a service issue. And just note, I think some of the language that you would want to tell the community members is you don't have to submit a challenge for an area that's already unserved or underserved. If it's showing up as orange or red, so unserved or underserved, then they're already BEAD eligible. So there's no need to submit a challenge. So if let's pretend that this is my location and I want to submit a speed test here. To do that, I'll just go right here where it says take a speed test. And again, you do not have to be a registered user to do so. Once I click on take a speed test, it'll take me to this screen. If any of these apply to you, you can check them. So if you're on a VPN or a mobile or wireless network, meaning you're using your phone, or you're using Wi-Fi somewhere in your house, you want to check one of these. If you're using your network for video streaming or gaming, you're gonna want to check this box. So then you'll click go. It'll start taking the speed test. It'll record the download and upload speed. It'll also record latency. So latency is going to be shown right here where it says ping. And it's going to take a little bit to do so. You do not have to record any of this information yourself. It's done automatically through the portal. So right now, my download and upload speeds are exceeding the BEAD threshold. So for this demonstration though, we'll go ahead and show you what it'll show when it does not meet the threshold. So if it does not meet the threshold, you'll have to fill in all this information. What it essentially needs is your email. It wants to confirm that this is the email that you use so that it can email you to remind you to take consecutive speed tests. Consecutive meaning any time of the day, any day, as long as there's 3. You also want to basically select which provider you're using, because that's the provider that you're going to be challenging, what type of property you have, and what kind of plan you subscribe to. Here, you'll certify that all of this information is correct, and then submit. Then that speed test is recorded. You don't have to do anything else other than take 2 other speed tests. You can also report a service issue. So for example, anybody can do this. So if there's a data cap at your household, you can go ahead and report that. You'll certify that all of this information is correct. And then it's going to allow you to submit some evidence regarding that. So this can be a screenshot of the provider's website. It could be basically anything that helps your claim that what you're reporting is correct. And again, anybody can go to this website, azbroadbandnavigator.com, and take a speed test or report a service issue. You do not have to be a registered user. A registered user can only be permissible challengers. So those are local and tribal government, nonprofits, or ISPs. If you fall under any of those categories, and you can register to become a user or challenger. To do so, you'll go to, sorry, I kind of skipped over that. You'll sign in and request a new account. You'll want to fill out all this information and then identify which category you belong to. So you can pick your organization from this dropdown. If you don't see your organization, you can go to other and type it below. Let's say you have multiple people from your county that you want to sign up. You can do so. Just make sure that they all use that same organization name, and everybody from that organization will be able to see the same broadband dashboard. When you're signing up, definitely use your government email or whatever email is associated with your organization. That'll help us approve your account quicker. So once you've requested an account, our office will get your request, we'll approve it, and then it'll send you an email to complete your account registration and create a password. Once you've done that, you'll be able to log in. Okay, so now once you've logged in, you can submit a challenge. To submit a challenge, you do need to go to the BSL level. So you can do so by zooming into the region, or you can type the address here. Just note, so there's a little bit of a quirk with the address search. We use a search engine from Mapbox, similar to the way that the FCC map searches for addresses. So this is the most efficient way to do so, because if there could be a difference in spelling, or road name. Maybe I shorten or hyphenate it. So sometimes it doesn't bring up the exact location. If that happens, you just will have to search for it manually, meaning zoom into that location and select the VSL. It's not a common issue, but if that happens, you can email our office, or you can try to navigate to that location manually. So once you've selected the broadband serviceable location that you want to challenge, you can go down here to the lower left-hand side of the screen and submit a challenge. So what I always tell folks is to have volume 1 handy when you're submitting a challenge. To find volume 1, you'll go to our Arizona Broadband homepage, the challenge process. And then under challenge process resources, we have the approved volume 1. In here, it'll have detailed information about the challenge process. So that's where you can find, basically anything that you need to know about the challenge process. It also has this list of challenge types and evidence types. Know that the evidence that you need to submit is not limited to what is in this table. So I think next week we're going to post additional information about evidence examples. There's also a lot of information here about MDU and area challenges and speed test requirements. So once you've kind of reviewed volume 1, that might assist you in submitting a challenge. So if we want to submit an availability challenge, you want to select the provider that you're challenging, the reason, what type of property it is, and then you're going to want to certify that all of this is correct. Then you'll be able to submit evidence here. If you want to submit a bulk challenge, you'll click this little pencil icon and create the boundary of all the VSLs you want to challenge. Note that there's only a couple of types of bulk challenges that you can submit. And then same as last time, you're going to have to fill out all of this information. So this might not be applicable to this audience, but note that if you are going to submit an enforceable commitment challenge, we do have a template on our website that we would like you to fill out and submit as additional evidence. That's going to be right here. Let's see, lastly, something very important that was recently added was the summary dashboard. So anybody can view the summary dashboard. This summary is a summary of all challenges in the state of Arizona. So it has, basically the official challenge process start time and the number of challenges currently. It's got the number of awaiting rebuttals and the number of completed challenges. So here's the overall summary for the entire state. If I go back to the map, you'll be able to also view the status of challenges here. So once our office starts approving challenges, you should be able to see them at the bottom of the VSL information page. There's also a process called the open rebuttal process. So basically, an open rebuttal is a challenge that falls back into the hands. It's usually from an internet service provider. And the open rebuttal can be done by any challenger, excuse me. So that can be local government, nonprofits, tribal government. So you'll see that here in the open rebuttal phase. what our office is going to do is we're going to make sure that we notify anybody that would be potentially responsible for submitting a rebuttal to give you like ample time to do so. And then lastly, for each individual organization, so let's say your county that has been submitting challenges, you can see the status of your challenges here at the challenge dashboard. It'll look similar to this, except you'll have another drop down that says challenges, and it'll have the status of all the challenges that you've submitted. Okay, that is everything that I planned on covering. I'll go ahead and stop my screen.
There are a few questions in the queue if you want them now, or do you want them toward the end?
We can go ahead and do them.
Okay. So let me go back up to the top. So the first one, I'm not sure if it was answered completely. Just recheck on that. Any update on sorting the map by provider, latency, and other NTA provider requirements? Was that one fully answered, or did you have more to share?
So the question is, any update on sorting the map by provider, latency, and other NTIA provider requirements? Not sure if that was a requirement ever. So Isaac, that was not a requirement set by NTIA for our map. The latency is there. You can click, and you cannot sort it by the provider. At least our map didn't have that option, and it's not a requirement from NTIA. I think city and town is still possible, not the zip code. You can still search it with the GPS lat and lon, but if that household does not appear in the FCC map, it will not take you to the right place, if that helps. Shouldn't the challenge process end date be May 14th rather than April 23rd? The challenge process end date is May 14th, not April 23rd. We got a question from Joey. Has the Community Anchor Institute information has been updated? We have several locations that are not appearing on the challenge map. Crystal, do you want to give everyone an update on the Community Anchor Institute, that how we will be receiving data outside of the challenge process as well as a separate template?
Yes, so our office did receive guidance from our federal program officer that we could add CAIs to our list. You can either send us an email, although we're still, well, I believe the CAI template is on our website, and you can fill out that CAI template. That is the same template that we use to submit CAIs to NTIA. It has to be completed to the best of your knowledge, meaning if you know the broadband availability at that location, we would really need it. We also, if it's not currently a category that we've defined in volume 1 as a CAI, it will need an explanation of how it meets the general definition of a CAI, meaning any location that provides basically broadband services to vulnerable populations.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Well, were you done with that one?
Yes.
Okay. There was one that I typed an answer to just to say we've got your question, so I'm going to read it from the answer. This is from Grant. Is there an update on when BSLs that have submitted challenges will be displayed differently in the map?
Is there an update on when?
What's the question, Kelly?
If you look on the answered tab, so it's from Grant Evans, an update on when BSLs that have submitted challenges will be displayed differently in the map.
Yes.
So I can show that real quick. So, and you don't have to be, this is open to the public. You don't have to be a registered user to see updates to a challenge on the map. That was an NTIA requirement that we make sure that we make this transparent. So if a challenge is made for a location, let's just say this location right here. If a challenge is made to that location, you will see that information right here under challenges. So it'll say that this location has been challenged. It'll also update once the challenge has been accepted and once the rebuttal process is over. At the very end of the challenge process is when we'll post our final determinations, and that will be made available on our website.
Okay, and then there's a comment in there from Isaac as well about the dashboard. States the challenge process date is 4/23.
Yes, I noticed that too, right after you asked it. So I'm gonna have our consultant update that. The challenge process ends, the last date to submit a challenge is May 14th.
Okay. And another one either from Zoe or Corey. How can counties get the information for all challenges submitted within their boundaries?
So right now there's no formal way to do that through the portal. We have actually talked with our consultants about receiving a report for the counties. We've had a lot of interest from counties saying that they want to be involved and make sure that, you know, basically they're campaigning in the right areas. So that may be something coming down the line. The question is how we distribute it. So I stay tuned. Submit a question to our broadband inbox if you don't mind, so that I can keep you informed.
I think one of the answer for that, a different form of answer would be there are two types of challenge process will happen and in next 1 month. One is the individual challenge process, so where the resident will take challenge on a individual BSL level. So you as a county or as a local government can zoom into your area and look into it. That will be a different color in the map. The other challenge process, which is also crucial, is planned service area. That means if a ISP come in and claim a significant area of a city or county, that they will be completing construction of this network by June 30th, or at least they have a plan to complete this construction after June 30th with additional documentation, and they're currently in the process, meaning they're on the construction phase. We will definitely put that up, and you as a local government can always went and review that claim. Those will be notified to that specific counties and cities separately, and we are currently working. We are currently setting up the email addresses basically from our CRM system from every single county who actually interacted with us on behalf of the county. So they will get notified the moment there is a challenge or challenge regarding the planned service area. That means you will be reviewing that planned service area and make sure that that respective ISP went through a permitting process, took your permission before even start deploying this network. If that's not the case, you will be letting us know that, and we will reach out to that specific ISP to chat more about that specific area challenge. So it's a little bit going back and forth, but those only will happen on the planned service area. For the individual BSL, it will just pop up in the map, and if it does meet the speed test challenge, we'll send that to the ISPs to review. If they cannot review, then we will open up those households for BEAD funding.
Okay, so one more comment here. For some reason, all questions are coming up like that. Okay, so we have several Zoe Avrils in the
yeah, we have
the
several
meeting.
yeah.
Anyway, so hi, Michelle. So thanks for the questions, and I think we'll keep moving. I think, Crystal, now you want to go into trends and common questions you're seeing in the broadband inbox?
Yeah, so just some clarifications, and I think I've already touched on a couple of them. But the summary dashboard, again, is for the entire state of Arizona. Isaac just pointed out that this date is incorrect, so we'll make sure we get that updated. So this is for all of the challenges in Arizona. Once our office starts accepting them, meaning that they can move on to the rebuttal phase, you'll see them right here. And then you'll see the number of completed challenges here. So that was a question that we've been getting a lot. Again, what Sandeep was just talking about was the open rebuttal. So you'll see those here. Any challenger should be able to see those. And we just ask that you make sure that they're applicable to you, meaning if you're, if you don't have any evidence to submit as a rebuttal, don't attempt it. What else? Those were the two big ones. Again, you do not have to be a registered user to submit a speed test or report a service issue. So no need to sign up for that. You can have your community members just go to the portal. They do not have to register, and they can submit a speed test or submit a challenge. When you're submitting a speed test, if you don't see your provider here in this list, there could be a number of reasons for that. Either they're not a reliable technology. And again, a reliable technology is going to be cable, DSL, fiber, licensed fixed wireless, or licensed by rule fixed wireless. If they're not a reliable technology, meaning they're unlicensed fixed wireless or they are a satellite, they're not reliable. So NTIA is basically deemed that those are already BEAD eligible if those are the only types of providers in your area. So there's no need to challenge it. Let's say you consult the FCC map and you say that your provider is a reliable technology, uses the reliable technology, and they're still not in this area. It's likely an issue with the FCC map. So those will come down as an availability challenge or a reverse availability challenge, or that provider needs to update the FCC's data. But that's going to be very rare.
Okay, we've got another question from Isaac. How can you submit a challenge when the provider has no information on their website and will only provide limited information on the phone?
Let's see. Go ahead, Sandy.
I'm not clear about this question. What does that mean?
I think if the evidence that you would need to submit a challenge. So, for example, if the provider has a data cap, if you can't find it on their website, it's usually going to be on your internet, on your bill.
Yes.
So that could be a form of evidence. I think one of the most, common types of challenges are availability challenges. So let's say that you live at this household and you would like to subscribe to Cox, but you go to sign up for the Cox service and they tell you that they don't provide service here. That you could take a screenshot of that website. If that is not something that you're able to do, you could record the phone call, or we'll take a number of different types of evidence. It's not limited to what's outlined in Volume 1. Those are just examples. So whatever you're able to submit will work.
All right, and underneath that, are you going to provide the link to the FCC website? Yes, you can do that.
And I could just show you that real quick. Sandeep's demoed this a number of times. So broadbandmap.fcc.gov. This will take you to that homepage. You can either enter your address here, or you can zoom into it. When you're navigating this website, what's most important is that you filter it by reliable technologies and by the 100 by 20 threshold. So to do so, you'll go to the service filters, all wired and licensed fixed wireless, and 100 by 20 service. here you'll be able to see all the different types of, you know, reliable technologies and served providers. Again, this would be reliable, this is not reliable. So this service right here is basically, if this was the only service available at that location, then this would be served or unserved, excuse me. So this is the data that's from the FCC map is the same data that we've used for the challenge process.
All right, there are no other questions right now. Okay, so if there are no other questions, are there any other updates or details from Sandeep or Crystal?
There's a pretty big update regarding the CAI challenges. We've actually reached out to NTIA for guidance on how to submit those additional CAIs that are identified. So we should be posting information very soon. We're still drafting an SOP. We're actually just giving it the final touches of some of these major updates, and basically information on how exactly to submit additional evidence. So that should be coming down either this week or next week. And that will be available on our website.
Great. All right, so anything else from the broadband office?
I think Isaac also asked a question if you could filter by latitude and longitude. The answer is no. You can't filter. Sorry, go ahead.
You can search it with latitude and longitude, not filter.
So you can search any of these in this drop down besides search. The default is address, so you can search for county, tribe, census, block group, and search that way. I think AppGeo did tell us a little trick if you're interested in searching by the location ID. The location ID is found right here in the this link to with the website information. So address equals location ID. So if you are a GIS person or very handy, you can use that.
All right, still time for some questions, if anyone has any.
Laura says, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here, Laura. We appreciate everyone who's here with us on this call. And of course, as Crystal already shared, we are always available via the broadband email, broadband@azcommerce.com, or of course, many of you have our direct emails as well. One other reminder, Crystal, office hours are still available, correct? So if folks do have follow-up questions after this call, you can register for our office hours through the challenge website as well. And I can drop the link to that here momentarily as soon as I grab it.
And while Aaron's doing that, we will have another roundtable next month before the challenge process closes. So I will work on getting those dates and links set up and on the website. So keep your eye out for that. We will have one more before it closes. So great questions today. Thank you for that. Thank you for your time. And I think we're wrapping up here. And we'll hang on until everyone has gotten all their questions answered, but it looks like we've reached that point. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great day. We'll see you next month.
Now we're down to only one Zoe. I wonder if it's the real one. Okay. Have a great day.